All right. Well, I don't know if people can imagine what I'm wearing today. And
You look
my,
like you're wearing, but is that a official Olympics gear or is that just like a random Canada jersey? I don't even know.
um, let me like pose for the camera here. This is I don't know. This is like a farmer's market sweater buy from some dude who had Canada gear. Nothing really too special. I bought it at like the Margaloop Farmers Market, and felt apt for you know, today's game, which we just watched. Um, yeah, damn, a little sad about that, but it was a fun, exciting game.
It was a good game. We had like 40 plus shots on goal, and their other goalie was just, I mean, I don't watch any hockey anymore. This is like probably the first hockey I've watched in like 2 years. Like, it was a good game, but their goalie just played fucking lights out.
Yeah, he played really well. Um,
So,
yeah. Hey, is your internet okay over there? I'm just checking mine.
yeah, mine's
Little
good.
laggy here. Don't. Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. Hey, are your skateboard on the wall. I don't know if you noticed. You've been
Yeah,
improving
I see it there.
my background, which has been nice. I don't actually know who this is. The Littles?
That's
I
the
don't.
Littles. It was a project. The founder was from Vancouver, and
Oh,
the project I think at the high was like floor was over 1 ETH. They tried to launch like a game and do some merch and stuff. I mean, it just typical Web3 project. But
totally.
yeah,
Nice.
I bought the skateboard because the theory was that it would give you a limited access uh, NFT for use in the game, which it did. But the problem was, excuse me, the game didn't really go anywhere, and they lost momentum because otherwise it would have been plus EV to order the skateboard.
Oh,
Excuse
cool.
me.
Okay.
It was like a shirt and a skateboard, and it was like like 250 or something stupid. But it was like the idea was like, well, you could get this limited time NFT that's worth like half an ether plus, right? And so it was like very plus EV at that time to order merch. It was like, do you remember Invisible Friends?
Yeah, I remember
They had
Invisible
like
Friends. Yeah.
so I still wear that hoodie sometimes at home, but they basically had like a merch drop, and I think it was like $100 or something, $110 for like a hoodie and a hat. But it was like, I think it was like something like 5% of people that ordered merch got whitelist, and the floor at launch was like 9 ETH, right? So it was like very plus EV to order the merch, and if you got whitelist for it, right, it was like, okay, cool, you got this hoodie that's worth like $30,000 for you to mint the project. So it was crazy times with merch at that point.
Nice. Hey,
Green again.
you're
Yeah,
just
100,
yeah.
189-second ping. It's still shitty, but
it's a little better.
Milliseconds.
Milliseconds. Yeah.
milliseconds.
You're a little better. We were just talking about Ed got me this skateboard for my birthday, and we were talking about a NFT project that made sense to buy at the time. Um,
But
damn,
it has no wheels.
it has no. It's just a deck. You're supposed to customize it yourself. Um,
I'm just saying, technically, it's not a skateboard.
it
It's a
it
longboard, actually.
what? It's not a
I think.
longboard. There's a longboard
That's
beside it, and that's not a longboard.
Uh,
that's a skateboard.
That's a
let's see. Let me
skateboard.
Yo,
check my
Ed,
order.
Pretty
Ed, do
sure
Yep.
it
you
was.
longboard? I think
I don't do any of that.
longboarding is like the coolest thing you can do. I think you just look cool doing it.
Chris, you have a longboard, right?
I borrowed a longboard,
Oh, you borrowed a
and I
longboard. Got it.
but I would absolutely just get one again. They're
You
so
should.
sick.
They
They're
are really fun.
incredibly frightening, but like,
Yep. It
Okay,
there's
it's a skate deck.
it's a skate
yeah,
deck.
you just
Confirmed.
observe it.
Yeah. Well, I think oh man, there's the problem with longboarding is there's like this hurdle of getting good enough. It's not like snowboarding where you get a snow landing. You get a concrete landing when you fall on a longboard, which makes it challenging to
Problem with
getting up to a level where you feel comfortable, right?
the problem with longboard is the randomness of Calgary sidewalks
Oh yeah.
always adds an element of chaos to it. And my very rational fear is that, first of all, you pick up a ton of speed going through down an underpass, and then like the cars are kind of at the level of your longboard. So my rational fear is that I'm gonna fly off my longboard while picking up speed in an underpass. It's gonna fly underneath the pedestrian barricade and just go through the windshield of a car.
Wow.
And then I think depending if they're stuck in traffic, I might just run.
uh, um, wow. Okay, longboarding on a hill is terrifying. I recommend you walk. You can just pick it up. Don't stress on that.
Coward.
I mean, we took our friend longboarding for his first lesson. This is Wayne, and he was kicking ass. He was doing so good. And then we got to this hill, and I was like, this hill is slightly above my level even, and um, I was okay to walk it, but he was like, I'll go first, and I was like, okay, I guess so, and he immediately bailed and broke his forearm on his first longboard
He
adventure.
broke his what?
His forearm. He
Oh,
yeah,
you never land on your wrists. That's like the first thing they teach you in snowboarding is to not stop
not,
yourself with your hands.
don't do that. Okay, wait,
You
so wait,
just tuck and roll, like take
yeah,
the shoulder.
correct. So okay, fall awareness is so important. How do you fall? Tuck and roll, or do a runoff. Runoff is totally fine. Or wait for the grass. Just wait. Just stay on that board. Handle the shakes. Wait for the grass. The grass will come eventually. Follow the
Bro.
grass.
The speed wobbles are real though, and if you have like flexible enough trucks, like you can get into some kind of sick standing wave where somehow it just
Totally.
adds up on itself.
Standing wave. That's a good
And
one.
I guarantee you, since you're a dill, I bet you like you don't even clean your bearings. Like, have you ever done a longboard with
Hey,
like freshly oiled bearings?
hey, who are you talking to here? I've owned longboards for 10 years now. I've changed my bearings a total of once. They didn't spin anymore, man. They didn't spin anymore. I had to do it.
You do freshly oiled bearings, man. It's fucking terrifying.
Terrifying,
Like,
terrifying, terrifying.
but it's kind of like a sharp knife. Like, you, you, it's preferable to have like more control. Like when you have like bearings that are just like chonky, that's why you like, because your wheels aren't spinning equally.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
um, yeah, I miss longboarding. Would not be possible in Europe because like everything is cobblestone and like paving bricks. So there is something nice about like the asphalt bike paths of Calgary. You can just like chill.
yeah.
Edwin, what are you doing to stay skinny then? I mean, you're eating well, but like, you're approaching that time where metabolism starts to suck.
So it's actually pretty convenient here. I mean, the thing is, like I don't drive and also I don't like ride a bike here. So it's like I take transit. So it's easy to get a lot of steps. Also, I have a trainer that comes to my condo 3 times a week for strength training. So before here, I never went to the gym before, like for strength training. And it's like just having someone come to the condo. I'm like, I'm like a kept woman housewife that has like a trainer that comes literally to my place and like like helps me do like basic strength training. And that's actually been great because like it gets over that initial hurdle. Also, I've got a pool so I can swim, and I just do cardio, because there's a in condo gym. So it's like, you have time, and you have access to these things. Whereas like when it's minus 20 degrees in Calgary, I'm not sure I'd even leave my house in the entire week, maybe to go to Costco once. So it's like you just can't get the same level of activity. And then food wise, like you'd be surprised, like you actually have like pretty good healthy options. And especially like using food delivery. There's so many ghost kitchens here in comparison. And so like specifically because they know like foreigners want, like they don't just want like the cheapest street food. People are happy to pay a little bit more to get low like better oil or like no sugar because they love using a lot of sugar in Thai cooking overall. And super common everywhere in the world. Like they just use a lot of sugar when you have a curry or when you have like a pad thai or something. Like it's usually a bit sweet. And in Asian cooking, like that sweetness is obviously there for balance. But they got pretty addicted to sugar over here, similar to like how it is in Mexico, where they have like 3 liter Coke, right? So like more, I think Westerners tend to tone down the sweetness, whereas like local people are like, no, I want more sugar overall, right? Because it's like their cheapest, most accessible vice. So I think it's really kind of a balance of, you know, good habits, and then also I'd say like even going out to watch like the sports game. I don't really go out very much, so it's like I don't really drink a lot of alcohol. I think like that's probably the thing that will mess you up the most. When your metabolism is like closer to our age, right? I mean, for you, wine is your vice, but I'm sure if you were drinking as much beer instead of wine, I'm sure it would catch up to you a lot faster, right?
You'd be surprised how much I drink.
I'm not anymore. I'm not anymore at all. I know exactly how much you drink, Chris, and it's a lot. Um, but
But I just got all my blood work done again, because I have like private healthcare here, and fucking just a vitamin D deficiency, bro.
oh yeah, you
That's
were
it.
saying, huh?
I was like, I take them like every twice a year, like proactively, and I'm just
Wow.
like, surely my lifestyle's catching up to me. Um, Edwin, here's how insane. I thought I had like high blood pressure, but I could just be like I'm not measuring it right. I just paid a lady to like ultrasound my heart and like measure my wall thickness. And I was just like, well, if I have high blood pressure or like narrowed veins, then your heart's gonna work harder and therefore it's gonna like get bigger. And it's all normal. That cost me an arm and a leg, but it gave me peace of mind.
Wow. Never would have figured. That's
That's the nice
awesome.
thing about this. You just literally pay for whatever you want.
Huh.
And then like a German
Yeah.
will do it for you. And the report is like rock solid.
Wow.
Is that covered for you? Like does your insurance cover it, or do you just pay fully out of pocket for that?
It's like partially out of pocket. Yeah. It's weird. Like healthcare here is like hybrid system. So like if you're like a teacher, like your healthcare sucks. But if you're like rich, then it's fine.
So, Chris, I have a question for you. How much fruit do you eat in a week? Like, do you eat fruit every day?
No.
I do.
So the thing
I
is, in Thailand, uh, I eat a lot of fruit, and the fruit is like cut up and it's peeled. It's like when you're a kid, or when you go to your parents' house, or like your like family friend's house, and they serve you up like, hey, here's a plate full of apples and mango, and you're just like, oh, this is really awesome. Like somebody cut up this fruit and it's ready for me to eat, and there's no waste that I have to deal with, right? Whereas it's like you're like maybe if you walk by the market, you're like, oh, you know what, I would really like to have some mangosteen or jackfruit or something. You're like, but I don't know how to cut this. I don't know how to peel this. Or like maybe it's like a pineapple, and you're like, oh, I don't want to, deal with coring a pineapple and cutting it up. And here it's like all the fruit is cut up. So it's like, like I eat like a pomelo a day. And like one time, like I ordered pomelo and I didn't realize that it didn't have a picture, and I got whole unpeeled pomelos, and I was like, man, this is a lot of work to actually like like cut open a pomelo, and then also because I'm like, oh, now I have a peel and I have all like this waste to deal with. Whereas like my regular schedule is just like, oh, I just go buy like the peeled and like perfectly cut and like de-seeded fruit, and it's like, oh, I eat tons of fruit because it's easy and it's like it's obviously good for you. So it's like it's filling, and it's like, hey, that's a big difference versus like back home. It's like you go to Costco and you buy some blueberries or something, and then like the fourth day in, you're like, oh shit, there's mold on these because I couldn't eat, like 2 pounds of blueberries within like 3 days, and so therefore I had to throw away half the packet, and it was like 14.99 for these blueberries. And so it's like, yeah, like you just get a ton of fruit
Yeah.
here, and it's like super convenient.
And I love fruit, but Chris, you don't eat fruit every day? Is that you say that out loud? I heard that, but I didn't believe it.
Why? I don't. Well, first of all, is fruit even that healthy? Like, fruit is just sugar. Like, if you drank
Um,
a glass of orange
No,
juice with breakfast every day,
I,
like Big Orange wants you to do,
I
there's
realize
no.
it's
literally
the
no
So
functional
fructose.
difference between
It's the
that.
pulp that's healthy, right? It's the digestion that's healthy. I
The
don't know what's healthy
fiber.
about it. I don't really know
No,
what's
but
healthy
if
about
I
it,
mean,
but
if
it makes
you
me feel good. I don't know.
like a glass of orange juice is like 30 grams of sugar, like that can't be good for you.
I don't think that's what you're supposed
So
to
I think it's the
do.
difference is like the how it's delivered. Like, so obviously there's fiber with it. There's like a little bit of protein. Like if you're eating a piece of fruit, you have like this mixture of sugar, natural sugar, and also like the sugar is lower than like if you get like a Coke or something, right? Like like your can of Coke has like 40 grams of sugar, but you eat like an apple, there's like 7 or 8 or something, right? But you also get fiber, you have other things in there, and the big difference is that also like you just get full off of it, right? Like if you eat like a banana or something in the morning, like the amount of sugar and the amount of calories in it, you also have other things in it that are actually useful for you, and also you kind of fill up on that, right? It's not empty, so. I think like because of like the fact that it has other things with it, like it doesn't cause you to spike as much as just eating like completely empty sugar in the form of like candy or like a sweet drink from Starbucks or something. So the idea is like you're getting less sugar than you think, in like a more filling form. And like you're not like 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 people that wake up in the morning and have a Starbucks drink that's like 90 grams of sugar in it. Like they have like 6 pumps of caramel and syrup and shit, right? And it's like, would you eat like 14 bananas and get that much sugar? It's like, no, you wouldn't, right? Because like after your third banana, you'd be like, even Adil who loves bananas, right?
Adil
He
loves
would like
Every day.
no, like he would tap out after 2 or 3 for sure. Because he'd be like, I'm full. Like I don't want any more bananas. And so like
Adil,
that's
what's
that's
most
kind of the
bananas
difference,
you
right?
what's the most bananas you've eaten in
Guys,
a day, Adil?
I I've never gone for a record. I've gone for a milk record. I've never gone for a banana record. Four maybe. I just okay. Wait. To add on to Ed's point, okay, I eat a banana every day. Everybody, that's because I think we're monkeys and it makes sense. It's just logical to me. But I think it's the work required to digest a whole fruit or vegetable that is actually like energy of your digestion system that counters some of the sugar intake as well. So that's why I don't think juicing is that wise. Getting rid of the work involved in digestion is just as important. But I eat a singular fruit every day, and I have for a long time. I think 15 years plus. Um, but now I go for 2 or 3 or 4 now. Actually, apples are my new awesome, evening snack. But I'm shocked. I don't get Chris how you don't eat a fruit every day. Do you not buy a fruit? I don't understand. You don't buy fruit. You don't.
I mean, I have fruit in my house. I just don't need to eat fruit. I don't eat fruit every day. It's
That's shocking to me. I get it though. I mean, I think that is what America's like. There's like food deserts, and people don't buy fresh produce. But wow, I was surprised by that. I actually thought for sure you ate fruit every day, and that's one of the crazy things about Asia. Like Ed was saying, is that like fresh mango and fresh coconut. It's amazing. I think Chris, Asia trip. Not Japan. Poor Asia. We got to take you out there somewhere.
I mean, I would go to Asia with both of you for sure. I just like need someone to like be the leader there.
So I was trying to
You
convince
you would have a great time.
Edwin. I'm still trying to convince you, buddy. You got to go scuba diving while you're in Thailand. I know you haven't committed to it yet, but you got to see a different side of Thailand that's not the city Thailand. Beach Thailand is is a whole other experience. Have you seen animals yet? Have you seen animals in Thailand yet? Have you gone to the zoo? Have you gone to Chiang Mai and seen like tigers, elephants?
I went to a elephant retreat back in February last year, and that was awesome. I mean, there's always the ethical debate for that stuff, but it was definitely a really good experience to go to an elephant sanctuary. And I mean, I've seen like monkeys and stuff like in Bali, going to like those kind of monkey sanctuaries and stuff like that. So yeah, but I mean, like I'm not a scuba diving type of person. Like, I'm not really a beachy person, but I'm learning to swim in my pool, so I can work my way up to it, and it's like actually like when's the last time I went swimming in Calgary, and it's probably like never, like actually like maybe one time, going to a recreational center, but it's like you just would never do that. Whereas like if you have a pool at your condo and it's actually like warm, and you can go anytime, you can go 8 a.m., you can go 8 p.m., and like it's actually like still totally feasible.
Totally.
So it's like you kind of just force yourself to, because normally like my experience in a pool was always limited to drinking in a pool with other people, like going to a resort or something, right? Like you're not actually swimming. But turns out that when you're by yourself in a pool, it's like kind of boring, right? Like so a lot of people like go on the, like some people, I see them using their phones in there for a bit, but then you're like, okay, like the novelty of sitting in some water like up to your waist and being on your phone is kind of lame. So then it's like, okay, well, why not just swim? Like, if you're the only person in the pool, you might as well swim. Like the only way to get better is to actually swim. And it's
Uh,
quite fun. Yeah.
I'm gonna drag you guys both to an Asian island one of these days, and some snorkeling or maybe some scuba. Definitely on the menu. Okay, I got to switch gears here. You mentioned thing. Has anybody seen monkeys in the wild ever before? And have you
Yeah,
ever seen
in the Amazon.
Have you ever seen angry monkeys?
Mm, I don't know that. I don't think they're angry. I think they're just doing monkey shit.
So okay, wait. What kind of monkey shit have you seen there, Chris? Like you were Amazon. What were the monkeys like? What were they
They're
doing?
all monkeys. They're like swinging around the trees or like holding onto branches, being in like big monkey troops.
I've never. Wow. Okay, so
No, that's not what he's going for.
no.
That's way too innocent. That's
Well,
not what they do.
I don't
That's not what
know.
they do.
Okay, so okay,
Really?
I haven't seen that many monkeys, but I had one monkey experience on Koh Phangan that like shocked me. That was
Yeah,
like
but they're like humanized where they like steal your phone and take selfies. That's not a monkey doing normal monkey shit though. That's a monkey that's like a pigeon.
Chris, that's those pictures are staged, right? Because I had a picture that was like it looked like the monkey took the selfie, but that's actually what happens is there's the guy, he's holding your phone and he's holding a piece of food over the camera, and the monkey's reaching out for the piece of food. That's what makes it look like the
is that
monkey
what's
took the
happening?
selfie.
Is that what's happening?
The monkey did. Yeah, the monkey didn't actually take the selfie. So the guide guy's holding the phone up. The monkey's coming towards it. He's holding the piece of food here. So the monkey's reaching up for it. And it looks like the monkey's holding the phone up and taking the selfie. They don't actually take selfies. They do reach for your bag and take your food. And also, like monkeys, like actually, this is like the Bali monkey forest sanctuary thing, right? They just like you probably see all these viral clips. Like monkeys just sit around and like play with themselves. They pick at their butthole. Like they pick at other monkeys' buttholes. Like they just do all sorts of gross things, right? Like
Monkeys
that's like what they
monkeys do
kind of do.
exactly what we men do when we're alone. Just like
Yeah,
Oh,
like the monkey is there, literally,
just like
it's like scratching itself, and then like someone comes along and it jumps on their back and like tries to like open their bag to get like a granola bar, and then it just like steals the granola bar, runs away, and people are like taking pictures of it, and then it just goes back to picking its butthole. It's like, oh, okay,
the
life of a
only other
monkey.
monkey I've seen is when I saw the monkey make the toad blow it. It was like holding a frog and it was like fucking it.
what the fuck? I don't know what you talked about. Fuck. Okay, I'll tell my one monkey
Something like that.
story that I remember in Thailand. So Koh Phangan, north side of the island, the edge of the island that is nice resorts. Like, okay, can you imagine how resorts work? There's a 5-star resort, and then there's the next 5-star resort, and then there's the 4-star resort, and then there's the Russian resort, and then there's the Eastern European crappy as resort, and then there's like the final one, right? It's a 2-star tree house set up, but that's the most pristine beach because it's not painted yet, and you have to take a dirt path to get there, and there's not proper taxi service, and there's bad Wi-Fi. That's the resort I'm at that I booked without my partner's approval because I motorcycled there, and and I bring her there. And we get into our treehouse, and I think it's the fucking dopest thing I've ever seen. Right? Then I got a fresh coconut. I'm stoked, but she's mad at me, and I don't really know why. I guess it's the time of the month or whatever. But then we're next to the forest, and there's a troop of monkeys, and they're just chirping and yelling at me, and I can feel them. They're just yelling at me. I don't understand what they're doing. And one climbs up my treehouse and is above me, yelling at me, and I have no idea why. And I don't understand. Maybe this is what monkeys do. They're like yelly and angry. I was so confused. I chucked my coconut away, and he like chased it. It was the randomest thing in the world. But I felt this moment of like angry monkey, and I didn't know what was going on. It was remarkable to me. I've not seen that before. I've always seen monkeys be slightly happier and not so angry. So I was curious if your monkey experience in Amazon was even close to that. But maybe they were happy monkeys.
I'm more like a natural science guy though. Like I'm not like yeah, I don't see humanized monkeys. They're just literally like in their natural habitat being monkeys.
Okay, Ed, what was your monkeys like? Were they angry monkeys? Were they happy monkeys?
I mean, they were normal, but it's like everything is like telling you, like, hey, like they can be aggressive. Like, it's still a wild animal. And like, obviously, like, because they're around so many tourists, they're humanized ones, like Chris said. So obviously, they know, like, hey, they know that like anyone wearing a backpack, yeah, I can pick through that and find some snacks like those. Oh, like this girl, she's carrying nuts or like a granola bar or chocolate in her bag, and like they just know like, oh, I can go and just take that stuff, and people will just go like, and then take a video of them or something, right? So
Got it.
like it's like anytime you see humanized animals, like everyone just wants to feed them all the time, right? And so therefore, like the animals obviously expect that, and they also know the next level that like yeah, they can just take food there, but they can also they have other things that they can do to take advantage of it, right? They can exploit it, right? So um, it's like
Weird.
they're playing on all their experience against people who are only seeing them for the first time and not sure what to do, right? So yeah.
Man, I want to do what you did, Chris, which was like get deep into a jungle that's not, tourist monkeys, like actual, natural habitat ones. Did you guys see the tribe encounter? Chris, did you see that? With the tribe that was found in the Amazon jungle in Brazil, that was filmed. Did either of you guys see that?
Yeah, there's numerous stories about multiple tribes in Brazil as well as Peru, and they basically just kill on sight.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's like numerous stories of just like they can shoot like these 7 foot long arrows that are carved with like bamboo, and that thing will just it's like eating a 50 cal. Like you just explode.
Yeah, so there's this new the
And
video of that
yeah,
guy who was on Joe Rogan podcast who like lives in the Amazon with his like
yeah, Paul Rosalie.
yeah, you
I
got it.
follow him quite a bit.
So I guess you didn't see that video yet. You should go watch it of that tribe he filmed, which was like a month ago, and it was a wicked video of like this tribe that showed up to where he was next to, and it was like 20 dudes, 20 naked dudes, you know, showing up, and they think they're going to be violent, and one of the guys they're like 3 hours. Wait, they're like a 2 day. They're a 2 day trek into the jungle on this small little village. And, lucky enough, one of the villager guys can speak a little bit of their language and, tells them, friend, friend kind of words. And then they gave them a canoe full of bananas as like a peace offering. And they gave them two of those canoes. And the picture, the video is amazing to see this uncontacted tribe, no females in the group, all young males, no old people either, and it was really visual to see them. It was remarkable. I really recommend you guys watch it. But the bad thing is, 2 days later after he left, they did make an attack, and somebody got arrowed. I don't think anybody died, but I think a couple people got arrowed, like you should describe it. It's insane. I don't think we often get the video footage because there's not normally like a Caucasian tourist that far out. It's just a story from a villager, but it's remarkable.
Well, a lot of people don't live to tell the story either. Like,
Yeah.
there's also the other story where it's this guy who did a mural. He's an Asian guy. He painted like a mural for Mark Zuckerberg,
Yep.
and then Mark was just like, "Hey, do you want to be paid in like Facebook stock?" And this was like when Facebook was worth nothing. And then Facebook IPO'd or whatever, and he basically made $240 million just for painting like a wall at the Facebook office. But now this guy just lives like the craziest life. He was also on Rogan, but
Okay.
he traveled to Africa to like hunt with these tribes and was like eating like raw meat and like I think he like tried cannibalism and shit. Like this guy's like totally off the chains. Like he's like a total West Coast artist, but he just like took his money and like went full fuck you, like off grid. I can't remember the guy's name, but he also has like a crazy story and he might have written a book as well. So there's definitely like those types of tribes that still exist where dude, like we're like talking about like smartphones and AI and they're just like living like the hunter gatherer life still, you know.
Yeah. So they were talking about this one out of Amazon. It's hunter gatherer. They're not even farming. There's not,
No,
they're not
they're
even
nomadic.
no clay making either. It's not like they're making clay pots. They're not even at the level of, kiln fired
Well,
things.
um, it's really hard to make a fire in the Amazon because everything's
True.
so wet.
Totally.
They're literally like fucking roaming around and like setting up a new camp every night,
Yeah.
which is
It's
like closer to like orangutan behavior than Homo sapiens. Not saying that in a derogatory fashion. I'm just saying like, dude, that's how we all evolved from.
Yeah. I
So
want to go, man. I want to go to the Amazon. That sounds so cool. I want to see it.
I think I think it's worthwhile because it's like it's it may not be there for the rest of our life. Like that is one place that actually is at risk that like in 30 years you might not be able to see like the wildlife diversity that what like whatever remains may not be there. So I think it's definitely worthwhile. And I think like of course you just see like an appreciation for nature and stuff. Uh, that can still exist and it's not even that far away from us really. Like you're 24 hours away from anything in this world. I would consider going with you because I went during the dry season and you could see like the high watermarks on the trees and some of the water levels are like 20 feet above the ground. And our guide was even telling us like, oh yeah, like if you came 6 months from now, we'd be doing this trail from a canoe and like the entire landscape just changes during the wet season. And then he was saying also during the wet season, the animal density is much higher because there's just like way less land. So they all gather on the high points, right? And you just end up seeing like way more shit.
So you want to go wet season, and you want to go back to the same place, or you want to go somewhere in Amazon? You're flexible on it.
I think Peru is the best place because it's like it is the most remote and it's like the headwaters of the Amazon. So of course it comes off the Andes through Peru and Ecuador and then flows out through Brazil. So I think a lot more of the undeveloped stuff is on the west side.
Cool. I'm in. That sounds like a blast. That sounds really cool. One of my buddies actually has got a trip lined up that I'm trying to weasel my way into. He's
Ooh,
it's a good trip, yeah. His buddy owns a sailboat. I want to say it's like a 3 or 4 person sailboat. I can't remember how big it is. And it's in Alaska right now, and he's been sailing on the sailboat for like 7 years, and he's making a I don't know, a transverse from Alaska all the way down the coast. So the one leg he needs help with is Alaska to Vancouver. So my buddy's joining him. Sounds like in May. And there might be an extra spot for me. So I'm trying to make that work. But that just sounds cool. I don't know. I've never done any. I've not done much sailing, and it just sounds like fun.
Sounds perfect for you. Sounds like something that you should have done a long time ago. I'm surprised that you haven't done a trip like that. I mean, that's like the Dill dream trip.
I mean,
Like second to going to space. Like sailing is probably like a close second.
I don't. Oh man, I didn't grow up boating at all. I didn't grow up sailing. I had to learn it way later in life. I think Chris has way more sailing experience than me. I mean, for a poor immigrant, you learned first generation immigrant. You got to sail on Glenmore Reservoir, which is pretty awesome as a kid. I learned some sailing in Vietnam last year, which was awesome. And I think the cool part about being on a sailboat like that is you have to do the work, right? Like some of the passages is you can't anchor, so you have to. There's no shelf after a while, and you have to just keep going at night. So you have to do shifts, and it's an adventure. It's not an Alaskan cruise, right?
it's the ultimate independence if you're blue ocean sailing because it's like you either do it or you die. There's like no higher power to turn to, and like some people find that exciting. But I think it's also like, of course, you do the work, especially on a smaller boat where like you can't just, it's not a cruise. There's no crew. You just have to like be part of the crew, especially if you're on like a 40 footer or smaller. Um, but like, I think it's like snowboarding, man. Like, if you're just going to, like, I think we're just like, or me, I'm just like naturally drawn to powder. Like, if I'm turning in fresh powder, there's something in my reptile brain which is like releasing dopamine because it's like we like that. And like when you're sailing on just wind power and the engine's off and everything's like quiet, it's like fucking crazy. I like totally understand why people in like the 18th century went like sailing to like explore. There's like no broader sense of like independence than like being on the water. And it's like an RV, except the earth is two-thirds water and not land. So you don't have to rest at a Walmart parking lot. You can go anywhere in the world. And it's also like in many ways completely lawless.
So
So
cool.
I get why
It's
people like
it's
it.
it's
I
the
like it.
implication. It's the implication.
Are we harming these women, Edwin?
Oh, you're terrible. Oh man, great job,
So
guys.
funny. Oh
So,
man,
Chris,
Yeah, go
oh
ahead.
no, you go ahead first. You go ahead. Yeah.
No. I wasn't gonna say anything that interesting.
Ed, tell us. Go for it.
So I was talking with Adil last week, and I've been kind of AI pilled again more recently. So I'm just curious what your exposure or experience is with like Moltbot, Clawbot, all like the latest generation of like, hey, set up your own Mac Mini or VPS virtual assistant. Do you have much exposure to this? Like, do you have much knowledge on this topic? I'm
No,
curious.
I just followed the Claudebot saga though, where you get to spy on language models interacting with each other. If it's real, I don't know if it's real or if it's fake. Let's assume it's real
So,
though.
I'm really curious about this because like I think it's like my feeds are curated for this because also a lot of people pivoted from crypto over to this. So like a lot of the influencer slash grifty people are like posting AI content. But then also like a lot of my existing chat groups that I have carrying over from that are also like heavily into this. And I think it's really at an inflection point where it's like if you are using these tools and using them well, you'll now be in the 10 to 100x as productive as a regular person camp. Whereas like before, let's say you're a very capable worker, like you're really good at your job, you're really good at what you do. You can easily be 3 to 4x as good as a normal worker in product like productive in a company, right? But now, like the edge that you will have being in this is like so significant versus like the demographic that's just using like ChatGPT for Google, and then you have like the Gen Z generation that rejects AI completely, which is at like a 0.7x times like the efficiency of a normal person, then right? Because they're like not even using the base tools, and the floor has increased because like the worst level of marketing material is just straight ChatGPT copy and paste. That's still better than like the lady that can't write with, that doesn't use capital letters and punctuation, right? So I think that like we are really at this inflection point with these tools. And I think it's worth playing around, setting them up either on like a dedicated device for it or virtual server. I think the setup is not that complicated. And obviously there's like a lot of, smoke and mirrors in AI stuff, and there has been for a while. But I really do think that actually we're at the point where um, really there's like a lot that can be done with it, and that like you are at the point where like if you don't get into this, like you're actually leaving a huge opportunity. Like I think this is like one of those times when it's like, oh, like, hey, there's an opportunity to, make 100x opportunity on something. Whereas like, these kind of spots don't come up that often, right? It's like, like people farming LLM optimization right now are like people who are early to AdWords or to Facebook ads, where like the return on those was so insane early on. So like now, like if you're making like fake Reddit posts and fake blog posts that like kind of seeding yourself, obviously that worked for SEO, but if you're able to game those so that like the lady that types into ChatGPT, what gym should I go to in my city? And it shows up as the top one on that. Like, your return on investment is crazy for that. And all you have to do is like see a bunch of like fake Reddit posts, like and with a few like accounts that have like good karma on them because it ranks so highly as like, hey, this looks organic. And like, even like, like the ways that people can do it are so sneaky. Like, imagine you make a post saying, hey, I'm in I'm in Germany. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for a gym to go to. But like you make this big thread and you post this like on Reddit. You post this stuff about it, your experience, and you have some other alts or bots like post some responses. And then what you do is you edit your post later to say, oh, I went through the recommendations. I'm going to this gym now. My experience here has been really good and I'm enjoying it. And now you have this like well-seeded thread, hundreds of upvotes, looks super organic, and then it just hits the LLM algorithm so strong. And it's like, wow, your post was actually completely fake. But like what you did was it wasn't like you seeded and made a shill for your gym in the initial post. In fact, you edited your thing to make it look like after valuing the discussion from other users, I've decided to go to this and my experience has been really good. But because it's in the OP, now like the LLM just sees it as like super high ranking value. And it's like this type of thing is like your return is insane, right? Versus like throwing lots of money at like SEO. And it looks so organic. And it's like there's so much of this kind of stuff out there. And but like that's not even like the clawbot stuff. But I feel like the opportunity, like I really see opportunity here for this stuff. And like the criticism I see for like clawbot stuff is like a security risk, and depends on how you set it up. Obviously there is risk there, but you can set things up. And also the other thing is that people are using way more data than they expect. And I thought about this a bit, and it's like, like people can set it up, and you can actually use like go through hundreds of dollars in API calls through like your ChatGPT or Cloud subscription. And what I realized was actually like, this is the same friction that was with blockchain. Like I remember the first time I wanted to mint an NFT, I had to move money to a chain, so I started like $1,000 of crypto, and by the time I minted something, I already spent $200 moving money around, swapping it for tokens and stuff. And I was like, I hated that friction as a newcomer. But then it's actually like that industry was like insanely profitable for people. And so I see it the same way. Like if you spent $1,000 on API calls, setting up, experimenting, tinkering around, and you actually get feedback from like upgrading your bot and giving it better instructions, like like if you're used to paying $20 a month subscription and you don't have spare capital, you'd be like, wow, I don't want to spend $1,000 to get nothing out of it. But like you might actually see it as like a good return on your investment to play around with it and then actually figure out how to be more efficient with it. And I see it as like the cost of education for it, which is how it was with crypto as well, where it was like you need to spend a bunch up front, but a lot of people don't want to deal with that friction. So they're using free tier chat GPT and seeing like the limitations of that and like the funny errors it makes. But like if you're willing to actually like commit a bit to an experiment with it, I think like the potential is actually like the ceiling is extremely high for it. Um, and so like I think it's worth watching some tutorials, maybe setting up a clawbot yourself on a VPS and
Wow.
playing around with it.
And
Like and
you
it's like
just sold me, by the way. I was half sold before. Wow, this feels like an NFT moment. You just NFT'd me. I'm gonna buy a Mac Mini after this call and do it. Shoot. Wow. I think you're totally right. I needed to hear your arguments perfectly worded, and now it sunk. Wow, you're right. You're totally right.
it's like all the people that are criticizing this. Oh, but how much does it cost? How much are you spending on this? Oh, you're wasting all this money on this bot that's doing all this VA stuff. You could just pay a real VA $50 an hour. But in fact, like you have. So, Chris, like some example of some of the things that you can do with a Claude bot. So it's like every time you read an article, every time you watch a YouTube video, you can build your own personalized knowledge base. So like you communicate with your bot via WhatsApp, could be Telegram, could be iMessage, depending on what you want. But like, hey, it's your own personal knowledge base. Like, oh, look, your friend, like you read this great article on X or like Substack, or someone sent you like this cool PDF. Cool. You just dump it all in your bot. It saves it all like into your database. And now you have your own personalized database of things that you're interested in that you can query to your bot and you can chat with it. It also iterates and improves. And so that's one point. The other part is like, the abilities for like a CRM kind of system, right? Like, so if you're linking it in with your mailbox, like you could even do it for something like this. It records your entire voice chat here, right? It notes action items from it. It creates the follow-up emails to people that you talked about in this, because it's logging the entire voice chat, and then it's also following up with that. Hey, did so and so actually provide this deliverable that they said they would in this meeting? Or like, hey, this is a warm lead that I haven't contacted in 3 months. It's going to send an automatic follow-up, and then you can also specify the tone. So the thing is, like a lot of people make fun of like this like glazing kind of tone that ChatGPT has, but you can actually give it a different soul or different like kind of tone, and you can also specify that. So when you're talking to the bot, maybe you wanted to talk like one of your buddies. So like like how you shoot the shit with your buddies and you send memes and like talk kind of goofy. You can make the bot talk like that to you, but then when the bot is outputting something to your Slack, like your company one, it's giving it a more professional tone as well. Or when it's emailing, sometimes it can be more
Edwin,
serious, sometimes it can be more light.
Chris, what do you think? Well, I mean, this is a deep dive further.
There's a lot to
What are your
unpack
initial
here.
thoughts?
I'm kind of sold as well because I think training my own VA, it's just like cloning myself. And like, I do agree with Edwin. Like AI generally, zooming out, it's a force multiplier. So like, the K-shaped economy is just going to get worse because if you're an idiot, life's going to suck for you because like these bots are going to take away your jobs. But if you're smart, it's going to 100x your ability to think and synthesize and be critical. So I definitely agree with that. Uh, it sounds good. I love that Edwin, I'm in brick and mortar power generation. Like so I run a geothermal company. It's cute that you think my company has a Slack channel. It's a good one.
But I mean, like this would actually be
Or
super
Outlook.
efficient.
No, if I do anything, it would be for myself. I mean, my company pays for I have like the lowest tier GPT 5.2 version. Even people are saying like, dude, the difference between like the most elite models and even the paid version is like night and day, and which is also again night and day to the free version, which is like a doofus. Like you're just talking to like a retarded 6-year-old with the free Chat GPT. And I don't even know if
Yeah, I
ChatGPT is
think
the best LLM, I think right
Claude.
now it's Anthropic.
Claude. Oh my God,
Uh,
Claude.
yeah, Claude is better, and I think Gemini is also better for general use. Yeah, the big thing I think that is like a general tip. So if anyone that's like listening to this and like is not so experienced with it, biggest mistake that people do is that actually your first input in like when you start like a new conversation with a LLM, your first input is weighed super heavily. So like when they make a mistake and you ask it to correct it and it's still fucking up, you're better off querying it from a new conversation with no memory of the existing one and just having a better initial input. So like your initial input matters so much. So like when you give it an input and it messes up and you ask it to do it again, but like change this, you're better off literally starting a new conversation because it's got so much like bad memory from that initial thing. And therefore like that's why like, people are like, oh, I'm talking to this thing, it's still making mistakes, yada yada. So actually like using it as a chatbot is like kind of like one of the worst things you can do overall, but even though it feels very natural because it's trained to kind of respond in a way that makes you want to continue the conversation. And even like like GPT 5.2 and like all versions of chat GPT always, they love to add like the leading questions at the end to like kind of continue the conversation, right? So that's how people are going to use them organically. But the best thing you can do, and especially with like Claude and the way that people set up like these Claude bots and stuff, is like your initial input string is like very large. Like what you input for like kind of like the description of the model is like quite lengthy, and you want to give it as much input as possible there rather than trying to fine tone it. And then Chris, if you want it to clone like a version of you, one thing you can do is when you're setting up your Clawbot, you can literally have like a 2-hour deep dive with it to like learn about you. So like it can learn about your personality, like what are some of the business goals you want to achieve, what's your personal financial situation, what's your what are your what makes you happy, what's your sleep cycle, like these kind of things. Like you can literally give it all this information if you feel comfortable, and it'll actually have all that. If you really want to build this clone of yourself, you can give it all this information. And it just depends on how much you feel comfortable sharing this, because obviously like this is all information that's going back to
So
like these
the,
companies as well,
the
right?
hardest thing for
So
this is I still think like there's some people who have perfect use cases for it, and some people who have easy ROI use cases for it. And I think you have to jump over the hurdle, which took me a while to jump actually, and I think I'm over it now, is the learning's probably worth it. The learning's worth it on the next 10 years to get ahead of this cycle.
What
Because
does so you got to buy a Mac Mini to install the software for it.
you don't have to. You can use like a virtual private server at just like €5 a month, and you can use like there's a main company. I'll send you guys the PDF after this on setting it up. But you can just use like this company, and it's like €5 a month for more than enough to set it up that way. I'm still going through the steps to set it up, and it's funny because it doesn't actually take that long. It's just more so I have to actually force myself on the computer to do this stuff. But I am quite pilled on it, and even if you don't have the immediate use case. So I feel like actually what Adil said, like you don't actually want to be a generalist with this, because even though like there's a lot of like all the guides and all the stuff will be like, hey, here's a bunch of general stuff you can do. You're better off finding a specific niche with this, and diving in quite deep with this, right? Um, and kind of specializing, whether that wants to be content creation, whether that's going to be like organizing like leads and optimizing for sales, or even if you're like looking for some other niche where it's like web dev or something like that, right? There's actually it's quite cool though, and I think the feedback that I've read and is that iterating with it is fun, for especially like for guys that grew up playing video games. It's like a loop, so like you're getting this feedback loop where it's like fun to improve your bot, because you're pretty much like testing it out, and it's like easier than just being like a straight dev where you're like trying to troubleshoot. This is literally you like playing around with the inputs on your bot and trying to like tailor it more, or improve its response and be more efficient with what you do. So it's like there's like this optimizing aspect to it, which is like what people have trained off games like Diablo and RuneScape, like just optimizing and min-maxing in a way. So I think I do feel that there's like really good opportunity. It's like one of those opportunities that comes up like every like 4 or 5 years. And I think like it will change the world significantly in the next 12-18 months. And I'm very strongly pilled on it right now. And the funny thing is like it's like so hard to have this conversation with people that in real life, because even like people that you think are, or like people that are, like very good in their industries, or like, high up in companies, or like well researched in different things, unless you're like specifically like a developer, a software developer, like you might not have this level of experience with AI, right? Like you just most people wouldn't. Or like you just don't want to be like the guy that's spending $500 a month in on API with Anthropic, right? It's like, because you're like just a hobbyist, right? You're like, why would I spend that much on it? But I think this is like really asymmetric opportunity here.
Love it. Well, hey
What's
guys,
chatbot going to cost to run then?
So that's where like people make mistakes because like obviously like the more technical your model, the more computing power it uses, the more advanced the model, sometimes it's going to be overkill for what you need, right? So if you're choosing different providers, you can also pick slightly older models that are more efficient. You can use those for certain things. Also, you like if you're not like in like a CRM like sales kind of role, you don't need this thing to query every 5 minutes, right? You may be okay with this, just doing one morning update for you, one afternoon update or something, right? So it just has to do a couple of calls. So like this is where people can go overboard on it. But I'll have to play around with it myself. But I feel like if you felt comfortable throwing a few $100 and just treat it as like education, I think you wouldn't go wrong with it. And you just wouldn't feel bad about like spending a few $100 on it and tinkering around. And also like initially there is like a very high fun factor with it. If you haven't played around with it, like there's like this fun feeling of like you're building stuff. And then of course like you hit this wall where you're like, oh, like like I thought I was doing something right and it's like totally wrong. But I think that it'll like that whole feedback loop will be enjoyable. It won't just feel like a grind. So
love it. Hey, guys, I got to jump off shortly here, but I think
mhm.
that's a good place to wrap up. Chris, unless you have any final thoughts.
No, I think it's cool. I hope we can do this again.
Yeah, Ed, thanks for
Again.
joining us. I love having you on the pod. Yeah, good three-way pod, guys. I think I'm pilled. I'm in actually. Thanks for selling me. I think
Pretty
though,
soon.
just watch out for the K-shape skill set of going too deep. In the Kool-Aid of tech, and you still got to swing hammers every now and again. Just don't be scared to go to
And
the Amazon
Gen
and
Z,
camping
Gen
and
Z can't even touch type. I think we're fine.
I'm just saying, don't make your whole world revolve around screens. You gotta detox and get out and do
Yeah.
some water sports. All right, guys.
The only time I use
But
my thumbs is for my space bar.
you hit the 100x here, and then you can do all the fun things that you want elsewhere, right? That's like I think that's the kind of basis of it.
You gotta do both.
In times of uncertainty, arm yourself with money.
All right, I'm gonna
Love it,
dump this
guys.
PDF in the Discord. But
Love
yeah,
it.
thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Good pod, guys. Bye.
See you later. Bye.